Hey, what's going on? JD here, and this is the Daily JD. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I appreciate it. As always, remember to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell button for the notifications to make sure you get notified when the streams are in fact going live. But you don't even have to do that. All you have to remember is that Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, we are here to talk to you about a whole wide variety of different things. Also, just remember that we are a Patreon-supported stream. We are a demonetized stream, so by all means, head over to our Patreon. You can support us there. We have a whole bunch of rewards, a whole bunch of things that you can do to support us, and we deeply appreciate it. I'd like to thank our current Patreon supporters, Mr. Matt Mort, Nick Samurai Fingers, and of course, Reviewing Nick Review Face. All their links are down below for their YouTube channels, so by all means, check those guys out. I know they'll appreciate it as well. Check out some of their videos. They have some good stuff going on. So again, check out our Patreon. We do have some new levels there and all that kind of cool stuff. Also, remember to follow us on Twitter. My handle @PainInc. That's also my Instagram handle. It's the vast majority of my handles on social media, so by all means follow us there. We tweet out before we go live every single day. Also, if you want to support us, you can head over to Teespring. We have some cool shirts over there. The Zero Fucks Given shirt supports the Lloyd and JD podcast. We also have Nick Samurai Fingers logo shirt over there, as well as we have Mr. Matt Mort's Movie Head, all available on Teespring. It all helps support their respective channels. So by all means, please go check all that kind of stuff out and appreciate any kind of support that you happened to throw our way. As well, like I said, I've been making a push for Twitch. You can check out my channel there. That is my Twitch link, so give me a follow. Typically, that is where I have been streaming the games. Again, you know, you might see them from time to time on YouTube as we push towards our total hours. I'm trying to make some decisions in what I'm going to do in regards to game streaming. Basically, it is set up on an entirely different level than I have my main computer, as well as the laptop that I've been using to stream, where I talk to you guys for these streams, typically doesn't handle things very, very well, and is in much need of sort of a reboot. As I indicated yesterday, about 7 years old, but my desktop, more than sufficient enough to handle it. It's just whether I want to move up into this office. It's just a nicer space down there, a more comfortable gaming situation, because I have a giant lazy boy with massage and heat and all that kind of wonderful stuff where I park myself for long sessions. Up here, I would be able to do some of the more entertaining things like add in Streamlabs and all that kind of stuff. So if you're into game streams and all that kind of stuff, let me know what you think in those regards. I can also set up everything for multiple cameras. I have the Elgato Stream Deck up here. You know, I have a whole plethora of different things available to me. So again, you know, just a little bit different, but you know, the nice thing for me when I actually game downstairs is I have that massive TV to sort of to stream on. So if you are here in the chat, by all means, throw some stuff down in the chat. Let me know that you are here. We also have the business of the wheel to get to today. At some point, the wheel, as we do, we spin it every day. Somebody gets to win a prize, as long as, you know, somebody sort of lets us know that they are around. So we're going to talk a fair bit about YouTube today. We're going to talk about some other things. I actually have a fair amount of stuff to sort of talk about. You know, I've got a few things to talk about Stampede. I've got some photo stuff to share. I also have, you know, to talk about a variety of different things that have sort of come out on YouTube in the past few days. Some good, some bad, some it's probably not really going to matter what it is, but interesting nonetheless. And then I've got the music awards to sort of talk about. So as far as YouTube goes, we could talk about a whole pile of stuff for YouTube. And oops, I'm jumping to the wrong screen here, as is tradition. So YouTube has done a bunch of things as of late. One of them being is that they are going a way that people are probably not going to be terribly happy about. And what I'm talking about here is sort of the non-sequential display of videos. YouTube, for the longest time, when you go in there, when you take a look at your subscriptions, when you take a look at your feeds, it's sort of the newest thing will appear first, other than in things like recommended videos and all those kind of things. So typically when you go to your subscriber list, you will see, or an upload list, you will see, sequentially the last uploaded, the most recent, and it'll go down the list to the oldest kind of thing. So they plan on basically experimenting with that, much like Instagram and Facebook and all these kind of stuff. So, I mean, we've talked about it before. I mean, people were terribly unhappy when, Instagram went to a non-linear timeline. People were upset when Facebook did it. People were, upset in general with that thing. They've asked for it to come back. Facebook has not done it for Facebook or Instagram. And I mean, it still annoys people, even though people still obviously use the platform. When Vero came out, which was the no social media platform, that was one of their selling points, that they were going with a linear timeline, which I personally like a lot better. But YouTube is going to basically move forward and experiment with this non-linear timeline. Now, why, if there's so much sort of talking about how this is not the way to do things, why are people doing it? The big question arising is, why would a company, do this in order, to sort of, change things, when people have already, sort of voiced to other, social media platforms that it's not a popular thing, that they generally don't like it. And the simple answer for that is that YouTube is looking to monopolize, sort of people's time on the site. They don't want you to leave. And YouTube basically figures through an algorithm that they can determine what you want to watch more. So they will suggest videos based on that algorithm. So what will happen essentially is you'll watch a video, take a look at a timeline, and then it will suggest what you should probably watch out of that subscription next. That might be good for users. It might not be. Me personally, I typically go to the uploads and take a look, and I want to watch the most recent video first. Generally, that's what's drawing me there. So a nonlinear timeline is kind of not my thing. I mean, you'll have your recommended videos. Sometimes I'll see something that I like and I will click through it. But generally speaking, I want to go, and a lot of people's, in my viewing patterns, I will go to their uploads and I will see what is listed there first. And that's kind of how I go about things. And then I will watch what's next and next and next, sort of back until I've seen something again. So again, YouTube is just trying to maximize time there. They obviously don't want you leaving the platform, so they're going to want to show you what you think you are going to watch the most from that user. The problem with that for me is that a lot of times, I think the algorithm, with suggested videos and recommended videos sometimes isn't that great, because I know for a fact that on occasion YouTube notifies me to watch my own video. That they'll say, hey, why don't you watch this video from Dirom? And I'm logged into the Dirom account, and I'm not sure why it does that. It doesn't do any good. I'm not going to follow it. It kind of, it's kind of weird, because I've seen the video because I edited and created the video. So the nonlinear timeline, I don't think is going to be terribly popular with users. So the subscriber feeds are going to change a bit. I don't think people are going to be happy with that, but I could be wrong. It may be advantageous for users. I know watch time is sort of the big push. I know that's the big push for myself, that I want people to watch more. I want to increase my watch time, all those kind of things. So it's very interesting to see if that will help in those regards. Again, time will tell. And it's interesting too, because now that summer's coming, traditionally spring and summer, you'll see viewership go down. So I'm not sure, how it will help, or if it will help, but time will only tell. Hey, good to see you, Josh. Thanks for joining us. So again, I'm not terribly happy about the new subscription feed idea and the fact that it's non-linear. I don't know if that's just the right side of my brain, but I do like to see things in an order, and I kind of want to explore backwards. That's kind of how I operate. I don't like the, sort of random feeds and feeding me stuff that I don't necessarily want to see, because I know even in my Instagram, a lot of times I'm seeing stuff, over again, and stuff that I don't necessarily want to see. So we'll see how YouTube rolls it out. I think they have enough algorithm problems, and this will probably just create something else that people will be very, very upset about. But like I said, on the flip side, as a creator, if it is going to help retain users and, you know, that are watching my videos already and help them, you know, find videos that they are more likely to watch in my news feed, or in my subscription feed, then I'm kind of all for it, because like I said, watch time is important, it's pertinent, you know, it's helpful. And speaking of watch time, we are about 70 hours away. Again, thank you guys for always tuning in to the Daily Show, you know, and, you know, watching past content and all that kind of stuff. You know, and anybody who wants to watch back catalog stuff, by all means do so. It will help us get that little bit of a push. Nick says, yeah, I get my own content recommended to me all the time. I'm always like, what the hell? Yeah, I don't understand why it does that, why it would do that. To me, it just tells me that it's broken, because how can the system not realize that it's me? And, you know, it's, like I said, when it comes to recommending and subscription feeds and all that kind of stuff, I assume it's going to take your watch behavior into account. But I always find it kind of weird, you know, the algorithms and what they suggest as well. Like, somebody will send me a video and I will watch one, you know, sort of like weird video. Somebody will send me something like a pimple popper video. I will never watch one of those again, so don't send me those. And your feed is just filled with that. Or you watch one, you know, hey, watch this knife defense video, and next thing your stream is just, you know, inundated with these martial arts videos that are generally pretty terrible. So I'm not sure. I don't have a lot of high hopes for this the nonlinear subscriber feed. But like I said, in the end, if it helps me with view time, I'll be happy. But I know for the vast majority of people, myself included, I don't like it on Facebook. I don't like it on Instagram. I don't think I'm going to like it on YouTube. And that's just my opinion. Nick says, did you watch the interview that CBO from YouTube, the ABI channel from India, that was posted on YYCTube? I thought it was a really good interview. I have not had the opportunity to watch that yet. I will be interested to watch it. I am curious if he asks some difficult questions, and I really hope he does. I know India has an absolutely massive market for YouTube. They have massive amounts of watch time there. You know, it'll be interesting to see. You know, like I said, when Casey did his interview, I felt like he was throwing a lot of softballs, and he didn't ask the difficult questions, and it felt, you know, kind of like Casey was a little bit of a corporate shill at that point to me. But you know, it is what it is, and a lot of times, you know, when you interview people like that, you know, I know, you know, from my experience interviewing people and talking to people, sometimes they will say, you're not allowed to ask these questions, or don't ask these questions, or they'll end the interview. You know, all those kind of things happen. So I wouldn't be surprised if those kind of things happened, even though it was played as a very informal thing where, you know, people could be asking any questions that they want. Nick says the algo wants to show you your stuff you watch. Yeah. To keep you on the site, it's just annoying as far as I'm concerned. He does, and he doesn't let him squirm out of answering. Well, that's perfect. So I will watch that, and I'll probably talk about it tomorrow. I definitely do, you know, enjoy those videos. It's good when somebody kind of holds somebody's feet to the fire and gets some questions answered. And, you know, it also gets across to them sort of what's going on. And I imagine, you know, him doing that kind of interview, that this person must be a huge YouTuber in India, and, you know, basically have a huge viewer base. And, you know, of course, you know, the fact that he's actually, you know, holding him a little bit accountable. I like the sounds of that. I like the video already by the sounds of things. So that's super cool. Interesting thing, you know, talking about that. Also, YouTube has gone and deleted somewhere on the lines, I think it was 8 million videos in the last little bit. They've taken down videos that they've considered offensive, all that kind of stuff. They've also listed out, ironically, one of the biggest offenders of that is India as a country, taking down a lot of videos that have copyright stuff that have sort of been hidden. So they've been going about and doing that. The scary thing with that is the vast majority of those videos were flagged and taken down from basically bots. Again, you know, some people complaining about deleted videos that don't know why they were deleted. They just got deleted, no notice, all those kind of things. But, you know, I think the vast majority still were, you know, extremely hateful content pornography and all those kind of things. So, I mean, obviously YouTube's got to clean stuff up from time to time. So, I mean, that's got to be an overwhelming thing with the amount of people that, you know, upload on a daily basis, and we talked about those stats a while back. But the other interesting thing is that they've changed the way that they're handling deleted videos. If you've ever deleted a video, and I used to do this every once in a while, things that I would consider dead videos that don't get any traffic, I would just kind of take them out of the rotation. It was recommended to me, it seemed to have a little bit of merit, that when you take those dead videos out, that it helps you sort of, you know, promote a little bit higher because of what people are watching out of your basis. So kind of clean those up every once in a while. I used to show unidentified video. It would still have your stats, and that was kind of it, and it would stay in your thing. That doesn't exist anymore. It just completely deletes out. The scary thing is that you don't necessarily know what has been deleted, and it'll be very hard to identify that you actually have missing videos. At least it used to keep the date and all that kind of stuff. But again, it's just part of, you know, YouTube's house cleaning and all those kind of things. Nick says, it's not hard hitting as it would like, but thousands of miles better than that softball shit that Neistat did. Yeah, and I agree with you, man. Like, it's you know, that video bothered me a lot, the Neistat video. I did a video on it when it came out, and I talked about it, and a lot of people really kind of disagreed with me. They thought that it was a great thing, that it was, you know, that Neistat did, you know, a great job, and everybody was super happy, and I think that was sort of the ploy of the whole thing. I think that's why YouTube granted, you know, sort of the thing with Casey. Casey is kind of, in a way, a lot of ways, the poster boy of, you know, YouTube. He hasn't caused some problems. You know, he doesn't swear in his videos. You know, he uploads on a daily basis. He has millions of fans and followers. You know, he's kind of that guy that, you know, people want, you know, to represent the platform. But, you know, in that same sense too, like, I mean, Casey obviously is protecting his space and all that kind of stuff. It just fell flat for me, you know, overall as a video. And that's nothing against, you know, Casey as well. I mean, I understand that if you have millions of followers and this is your livelihood, you probably don't want to punch your boss in the mouth, because we've talked about before, YouTube can change things at the drop of a hat and all that kind of stuff. We've seen them, you know, demonetize channels. We've seen them take people off premium advertising, which I suspect Casey is on, you know. So, I mean, all those kind of things can definitely have a big impact. Also, on the YouTube front of things, is YouTube has introduced essentially what is referred to as YouTube messaging. This is a little feature that was available on the app, the phone app, but was never available on desktop. So if you are utilizing, you know, basically a modern browser, so if you're on a Mac and you're not using Safari, if you use Safari, it won't show up. There is a means in order to basically message people in your contacts, and basically, you know, talk to them through there and send your videos and so on. So it's kind of a cool feature. However, that, you know, that it's interesting in the sense that, you know, it might be a way that people spam people. I don't know if it's a great thing. I'm not sure how you add your contacts in. I think it comes from your Google Contacts, which is kind of separate from your YouTube. So, I mean, it's a way you can share videos, you can group message, you can do Hangout stuff, which is kind of cool. I imagine if you have a user group and you can have a bunch of people in there as your contacts, you will be able to send them notifications and notify them as a group. So I'll take a look into that further, but it is kind of neat. It was available on the phone. I'm not a big phone app user for YouTube. I use it from time to time just to kind of pass the time, but I don't spend a lot of time like a lot of people do on their phone app. But it's kind of cool to see the messaging feature. I think the point was to keep people, again, on the platform and not move them away. A lot of times when I send personal messages to watch YouTube videos, it's typically either through text message or it's through Facebook Messenger. So this will enable you to do it sort of, you know, through, you know, natively through YouTube. Again, you know, might be a good thing, might be a positive thing. It's attached to your account, all those kind of things. But again, you know, it might become one of those things where it becomes super spammy. So if you have any questions, by all means, throw them, or comments, throw them in the comment thing there. It's good to see you guys there. The 4 p.m. work call, Josh. I hear you, man. I like the new studio look and feel. Cool, cool, cool. So a few more things. I mean, we've been talking about it. Stampede announced the last kind of batch of musical artists. There's kind of a cool group. Walk Off the Earth is back again, and they've got Sheryl Crow as well coming to the Stampede, which is kind of cool. I think this is probably the best musical lineup I've seen in quite some time with a Stampede. I think last year with the record numbers that they maybe had a little more money to throw at things, so it's kind of cool. I haven't seen Sheryl Crow play in a long time. I know a lot of people are big fans of hers, and she's probably one of the older, bigger names. You got to remember that nobody's paying for these tickets; these are all free. You just kind of show up, and it's whenever you show up kind of thing. So it's kind of cool that they're putting a little more money into the concerts again. They've got people like Our Lady Peace coming out. They've got Billy Talent. They've got Alexis on Fire. Again, these guys aren't necessarily filling arenas anymore, but I mean, they do have good followings. Walk Off the Earth just won a Juno last year. Always very entertaining. And if you haven't watched their stuff on YouTube, they produce a lot of YouTube videos as musicians, and they're actually quite entertaining. And that's how they kind of got the momentum they did as musicians. So by all means, check them out. Josh says the YouTube Beta Creative Studio. Yeah, the Beta Studio looks awesome. The YouTube Beta Studio is super cool. I like how it's looking graphically. It's a lot more modern and cleaner. And what I like is sort of the funnel. There is the one screen where it shows you the funnel. It shows you how many times people saw your videos, or they were recommended, or it was in somebody's feed, and then it shows you the click-through percentage of that to who went and actually watched your videos. If you are sort of below, I believe it's 5%, that's considered poor. 5 to I think 10 is considered moderate, and basically 10% plus is considered really good. I know looking at them today, I know that I fall sort of in the 5.4% range. So, I mean, that's good. Would I like it to be higher? Obviously, but I mean, it's super cool how they have it all laid out. It doesn't, unfortunately, have anything for the live streaming stuff, which is unfortunate because that's what I'm doing the vast majority of stuff on now. But I think they're working on it. It is still in beta. It looks really good. I think the information is really good. Even like the video manager is a lot cleaner than it used to be and all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, it's a much better way. Again, if you are on a Mac, don't use Safari to use that stuff. It won't work because Safari is garbage. But, if you're using Google Chrome, obviously it's going to work very well in that. I recommend that you take a look. I like how it looks way better. Breaks down the stats. It just seems a lot more visually appeasing and a lot more understandable. Everything from your demographics to where people are coming from is super cool. Josh says Coke Stage is crazy this year. It is. And, again, it's a good lineup that I've seen. I was excited to see Billy Talent and Alexis on Fire, and they just continued to build on that. There's not a ton, from what I can tell, country artists, which is kind of cool. I think they're putting that all in, sort of the other stage, which is awesome, because I'm not a huge country music fan. But, again, Stampede is a big kind of country event. Samurai's Fingers. Ooh, Sheryl Crow, so sexy. I wonder if she still is. The photo is pretty old. I'm sure she is. I'm sure she aged well. A lot of people love Sheryl Crow for that reason. And she's started as a school teacher and all that kind of stuff, and broke into music, and she did really well. And I haven't actually really heard much of her in the last little while. I imagine there will be a lot of people there. Nick says, that's how Walk of the Earth started, making crazy YouTube videos and music videos. Absolutely. They've had really great success with that. And I mean, even watching them play, if you've ever seen them play, I photographed them during the Junos when they were in Calgary. I worked that show. They were opening for Mariana's Trench. They were, you know, they do crazy stuff on stage as well. They utilize a lot of different instruments. You know, it's a big group of people, and they're always very, very entertaining to watch. I know that they were here, I believe it was last year. I believe I photographed them again last year at the Stampede. So they're here again. They are super fun, and, you know, they have a great time when they perform. Nick says, Chrome the only way to go. I would agree. Josh says, I want more live analytics like Twitch. I agree. I think YouTube really needs to jump on, you know, sort of the analytics, much like Twitch. I think, you know, having an achievement thing is also super, super cool and motivational for people. I know we've talked about that on your stream, Josh, when you're playing. You know, it gets you motivated. It gets you wanting to get sort of those things. You can see the percentage growing. You know you're going to get there. You know, at the current moment, you know, the only kind of thing that you're racing for in YouTube is, you know, monetization. It's 1,000 subs and the 4,000 watch minutes. So, you know, it's kind of a big goal, because I'll tell you, it's been slow going even, you know, for myself to kind of attain those watch hours, you know, and kind of creeping forward. And same thing with subs. I mean, you gain a sub at a time. You gain, you know, a couple here. I lose a couple. You gain one. You gain two. You know, it's kind of a slow little march. I mean, unless you do something massive or you get something that absolutely blows up, generally speaking, you know, that stuff, it's, you know, kind of one step at a time. And you slowly build those ways. But that's most channels and most social media channels anyways. Hey, Genesis family. Good to see you in here. Going to bed soon. Just uploaded Kids Baby Shark challenge video. Check it out if you like. We will definitely do that. So yeah, Stampede looking super, super exciting. Also, this week I photographed Lamb of God. So those photographs are now available. They've been published in Portal Magazine. I will throw the link in the chat. So if you like metal, if you like Lamb of God, you can see all my photographs there. It was super cool of those guys to send me an invite out, and I went out there and covered them and subsequently submitted it to the magazine. Like I said, ironically, I didn't get a press approval through both the sites that I work for, and then ultimately Lamb of God sent an invite out, and then subsequently, obviously, we put it there. So by all means, check out those Lamb of God photographs. It was a good time. Good to see you, Trevor. Good to see you, Divot King. Thanks for joining in. So, yeah, Lamb of God was actually a super, super challenging show. That photograph that's actually up in the corner there is probably one of the very, very few times within their set that they actually had clean light. The vast majority of it was red or blues, which are terrible to photograph in. That means that you typically go in black and white, but I was lucky enough to have my timing in position and all that kind of stuff to get this shot, which I was very happy with. So check it out, Lamb of God. I guess you could say they're the future of metal in a lot of ways if you were into heavy metal. If you haven't checked out Lamb of God, I do enjoy this stuff. They are definitely on the heavier side. So also, if you are a Calgary musician, if you are in a Calgary band and you have released stuff from basically February, the end of February last year to, I believe it is March 1st of this year. If you've released a video, if you've released an album, if you've released songs, all those kind of stuff, just keep in mind the Calgary Music Awards, their last day for nominations is at the end of this month, so you can submit there. There is a wide variety of things you can put in for Best Metal Act, Best Country Act, you know, sort of the whole gambit. This is the third year of the awards. You can definitely, you know, check it out. It will be in September, towards the end of September. It is September 23rd. It's going to be at the Palace Theater. There will always be, you know, a bunch of Calgary musicians there. There will be a bunch of great people performing throughout the night. Usually at the after party, they have a couple bands perform as well. They always have tickets for that kind of stuff as well, so keep your eyes peeled for that. I have worked with them for the past 3 years. I think it is a great event. Last year, you know, lots and lots of people out, lots of support. It was a really good time, so by all means check it out. But if you are a musician and you haven't heard of it, and you do have albums, and you want to put it forward, it works very much like the Juno processes. You get nominated, you have to basically submit, it goes to committees, they'll review, and then it gets broken down based on the panels, and then eventually they will come down to who will win, and then that will be decided in September. Josh says those are sick photos, man. Thank you very much. It's a good time. Definitely loved going out there. Ironically, those are the only ones that are publicly released to the Lamb of God. I wish, they'll show up in some way, probably in a portfolio or at a show. But I have, a ton of Slayer shots from that show. Anthrax, Testament, Behemoth. It was a super fun show. There was a couple shots if you were watching, and that video I will put back up shortly. I wanted to wait until the photographs that were going to be published were published. You can actually see me go through the editing process, and I have to give credit to Josh here. I stole that idea from basically live streaming my work live from Josh, because Josh had basically live streamed some Photoshop stuff that he was doing unbeknownst to him, and it worked out really well. So I did that as a live stream. I edited all the Slayer photos, Anthrax photos, all the Lamb of God photos. So you can definitely check that out. Maybe when I publish that, I will let you know here, and I will throw a link in the description, much like I did with the Portal stuff, so you can check out that video. I talk about my process, how I go about things. It's a bit of a longer stream because I talk when I'm editing. Normally it's like very, very quick how I edit, but you will get some idea of what I do in Lightroom. And everything that I do for these photos is in Lightroom, and I talk about a lot of stuff about concert photography. So if you're interested in that kind of stuff, if you're, it's just me basically sharing what I know and, talking about what I'm doing. There are no great big secrets, but, there's some pointers in there. I know that when I was doing it live, I had a couple guys, Andy, Woodrow, Mum's Universe were in there watching and stuff. So, Woodrow was saying he was picking up some good tips. So that's great. That's all it's meant to do. Divot King says, I tried the plastic currency on the record player, and the trick, it would only work with a Johnny Cash album. I'm sure you're just being punny there, Divot King, but yeah, it's that was an interesting video. I put it out. Like I said, that sort of stemmed from my cousin basically saying that the 5-pound notes could do it. They're just switching to plastic currency in the UK, so I figured we already had plastic currency, so it probably worked, and tried it out, and sure enough, it did work. And it's just crazy how clear it was. And actually, I was surprised how loud. I thought it was going to be very, very quiet. In fact, I probably overcooked the mic a little bit just because I thought it would be so quiet. And, it turns out that I really didn't have to do that. Josh says, hello, man. Do it up. I love it. Perfect. Good night, Genesis family. Thank you. No problem for the support. And thanks for dropping in. And what we have left, since we've talked about everything else, is we obviously have the wheel to deal with. So, I don't know. What should I ask for skill testing question? I have no idea. Name one of the acts that will be at the Calgary Stampede this year at the Coca-Cola stage, and you will get to spin the wheel. So throw that in the comments. One of the acts that is going to be at the Calgary Stampede this year, and you will get to have a crack at the wheel. So all that kind of stuff. I don't know if Trevor's still in here. I still have to watch that video. I think he sent me another video. I haven't watched it. I do want to pick your brain at some point, Trev, about the drones, because you sent me that drone video, and I'm very, very curious about Lamb of God. It is not Lamb of God. I photographed Lamb of God. I photographed them at the Stampede grounds, but they are not at the Coke stage this year. Yeah, the mini drones and all that kind of stuff, I am definitely, looking to find something that's a little more small and basically can take some decent footage and is going to be compliant with air regulations where you don't have to be compliant with the weight. It has to be under 300 grams. So, oh my God, you guys, and the amount of guesses here that are terrible. Wham can't even play, man. Wham can't even play. That's not going to happen. I think we've mentioned, how many bands have we mentioned in the last 3 days? We've mentioned at least 6 bands. So throw that down. Maybe I have to make these questions easier. You know, maybe maybe what I should do is I should develop a question beforehand and put like little slots kind of there, where it's like multiple choice, and then everybody gets to weigh. Oh, are the Spin Doctors coming for Stampede? Awesome. No, they are not, Nick. They are not coming at all. They were here, I think 2 years ago. They played the Deerfoot Casino. That's the first time I had seen them in a long, long time. You know, it's definitely not coming to Stampede, though. The question again, Nick, is name one of the bands that is coming to play at the Calgary Stampede Coke stage. I named 2 today. I named 2 yesterday. I named 2 the day before. Should be fairly simple. I'm surprised that all you people that are watching on computers that haven't Googled it yet, I'm sure you would be able to find it pretty good. Damn, they are still together and playing. Yeah, they are still playing together. It's you know, it's kind of interesting that they are, you know, still playing together, that they have, you know, stuck around that long. I mean, sometimes I think with older bands, though, it's a matter of going back and playing salad. Thank you, Josh. Josh will get to spin the wheel. Josh answered. Billy Talent, quickly followed by Nick with the right answer. Trevor and Divot King, it was all very, very disappointing there. But Josh has got the spin, so best of luck, Josh. The wheel is brought to us by The Path Less Traveled, their new album, Legacy. Where is the wheel? We have lost the wheel. Hello, wheel. There we go. For whatever reason, it didn't want to come up. So the wheel is brought to us by The Path Less Traveled. The new album, Legacy, is on iTunes and Spotify now. You can listen to it on Spotify, stream it, all that kind of stuff. You can download it through iTunes as well. They have a show this week at the Gateway, so you can also check them out there. My friends, The Path Less Traveled. We also have albums from Samurai Fingers, some covers of Kiss and Iron Maiden. We have those to give away. And as well, we have a fresh gift certificate. So best of luck, Josh. Sorry, not today. Close. I would just have to, if Josh had won, I would just have to start piling his stuff in a pile, because I forgot I was supposed to give him, when we went to see Deadpool, I was supposed to give him the shirt. I left it in the Jeep, which it is still there. So next time you see me, Josh, say, go to your Jeep and get my shirt. And we will pass that off to you. Like I said, every day there's opportunities to win on the wheel. If you do have prizes or something you want to give away there, by all means, let me know. We can get you up on that wheel. Those guesses were amazing, guys. Yeah. Spando Ballet, that band makes one fun. That's classic Spando Ballet. I mean, that's all 80s stuff. It's absolutely crazy. No joy for the wheel for a long time. Yeah, it kind of goes in spurts, the wheel. I don't know why that is, but that is just the way it is. So appreciate you guys tuning in. Thanks. Remember to hit that like button, share the video, all that kind of good stuff. Watch it on replay, leave all sorts of comments, all that kind of good stuff. If you have anything that you want to talk about tomorrow, by all means, tweet me at Pain Inc. All that kind of good stuff. Thanks again, guys, for tuning in. This is the Daily JD. I will catch you guys tomorrow. And until next time, see ya.